We knew our model was legitimate. We know that if you look at behavior, you can use big data to find patterns and invisible things that are clearly not evident. And we found that in medicine with all sorts of factors that now with the affordable health care, all those medical records are really providing a lot of information, crime, consumer, infrastructure. What we want to do is be able to get big data to go through our Lantern, our Elasticsearch Lantern, and look at behavioral queries that in essence are precursors to certain forms of violence. So let me just demonstrate very briefly what the Lantern is. The Lantern is right now beyond proof of concept. It's working. Say you're a teacher and you've got a student and you've been watching them for a couple of weeks and they demonstrate some unusual behaviors, or you're a parent or you're a psychologist. If you're a parent or you're a teacher, you may not necessarily have all the information you need. You might see a behavior, but you don't know how to name it, call it. What we have is an encyclopedic, well, there it is. I think I'd know how to use it by now, huh? Well, anyway, this is unbelievable. What's on it, this is a list of behaviors. And you can see it's scrolling right now, but and what it is, it just provides a whole list of different kinds of behaviors that they can put into the query engine. Oh, there it is. See it? And we're working with the American Psychological Association to be able to have these hot, so they can open up a text field and explain these kinds of behaviors. They can then grab that, they can tap on it, and then it goes actually into our search tool, and here it is. And so, for example, let's do a little hunting here. On 2020, about 6 months ago, Dylan Klebert's mother, one of the Columbine killers, was interviewed by Diane Sawyer, and she said that she hadn't, there were really no signs of this kid's behavior. And then she went into a long description about how at first he started having trouble paying attention and concentrating. So if I go ahead and I put that in our search engine, well, let me get rid of that. What will come up is really nothing terribly insignificant. What we get are some aspects, at least given those, he has a higher risk of getting involved in stealing, or medium risks with that. If we add to that poor grades, see what happens. Remember now, this is Columbine. And now we got a leveling of those four other factors. We then want to add, and the reason why I'm using these is because this is what she told us while we're watching this program, right? So, and what we were doing too was we were looking at his journals. This kid wrote in a journal that was leading up to this event. And now if we add a breakup, he did lose a girlfriend about a month and a half before the shooting. Now let's see what that does in terms of showing us. Again, just certain categories that are slowly moving up. Now our data set for this, our total amount, these were 10,000 records that we used. And we used Department of Justice, CDC, Department of Justice, CDC, a whole lot of them. And then, let's just cut to the quick. We find out that Dylan's friend is a family who are really into guns. So now we added this, and we're looking at their journals, and then we get this. Nothing still other than these are things to be looking out for. And as we know, these two kids were the victims of verbal bullying for their entire high school career. Their senior year, when they started writing these journals, they started getting very, very angry. They had lost their identity. If you think about it, if you're 12, 13, 14, and people start kids start attacking you, you begin to believe the language of their erasing you. You get erased. You're self-erasing. You become a non-entity. And what happens over that period of time, a kid who is a victim, who becomes reticent, these scores right here just begin to sort of see, well, these are some of the things that these kids could do. But when a kid finally reaches that point where they stop being a victim and they become an avenger, then you watch this. I'm going to add a leather coat. Both of them on the last page of their journals, the mother said that they started wearing leather coats. Shoot. Now, if I go ahead and add the very last thing that they entered their journal with, and the mother said about, watch. See it? Now, thank you. If a teacher, thank you. If a teacher, I appreciate that, it's been a lot of work. If a teacher sees this, then we got intervention programs. We can start hitting this early on. The idea for this came from the fact that I lost 2 graduate students who committed suicide at Arizona State University in a matter of about 6 months. And this talk and this whole effort is dedicated to Jason and David, 2 of the world's best guys. And I'm telling you, it's just really hard to, say that, but we're committed to this. So let me see if I can get back to the main, back to the slides, gentlemen. Thank you. So this is where we're going. We want to grow a database and get as much uploaded data as we can, clean it up, look through it, make sure it's legitimate, make sure it's good. Journals, student journals, 1952 to 2017, each state in this union collects police reports of school violence. All those reports, we're going to go through those. It's unstructured, but we're going to go through them. So that's, 67 years that we can grab all of that. Department of Justice. We want to hire social scientists. We want to make this a national initiative. We need data science guys like you to give us a hand with some of the stuff to get to have better functionality and better ways in which we can use this tool to create community. That every query that you would make on this thing would be able to sort of be told by others that you're making this query. So teachers can really start sharing their concern about kids. We want to launch some crowdfunding initiatives. We need hopefully get some corporate sponsors to do the good thing. And then we want to grow our 501c3, not A3. Eventually, we will lose the school violence focus. The Lantern will become a massive tool that allows us now to extend the same logic, the psychological logic, if you will, to questions about adolescent health, to academic success, to drug abuse, relationship successes, their sexual issues, and the negotiation skills, so that kids learn how to talk rather than stab or shoot or punch. So, in conclusion, we want to protect school children and make it everyone's business. We've got to grow to meet the epidemic levels of school violence, and we need all of us as community members, as Nelson Mandela suggested. We need the community. We need you guys. We need the tech community. We need corporate sponsors. We need educators and everybody to be able to help build this app that allows our children finally not to go to school out of fear. Thank you.
Paul, thank you.
Thank you.